Hi there, my name is Granville D'Souza and I am the founder of 9 Points of View. Together with the co-founder Marion, Nicole, both of us have produced this deck of cards called the Enneagram Profiling Deck. And today I'm going to unbox this package. Well, the main objective for producing this deck was to help people understand their core type and hopefully, even if it's not the core type, at least getting closer to understanding the Enneagram type. The other one, it can also be used as a coaching deck. And thirdly, you can even use it just to deepen your understanding of the Enneagram. Sometimes people prefer a book, sometimes people don't have the patience to read a book. If you don't have the patience to read a book, then just flip through the cards and it really acts as a kind of book. So it's almost like doing a profiling tool, and when you use a profiling tool, you're going to look at which is your highest, your second highest, and your third highest. So why would we use the Enneagram Profiling Deck? Well, some people prefer to use a profiling tool like the WEPS. So we tend to use the WEPS quite a lot, WEPSS. Again, if you want to access that, www.wepss.com. Now, as an alternative, we produce this because why? Not everyone wants to use a profiling tool. Some people like it and some people don't. Some of the limitations of a profiling tool is sometimes people feel there's not enough depth, and maybe it depends on the mood of someone when they're doing the test actually. And of course, the advantages of using a profiling deck is you can actually get into depth, you can have conversations. We highly recommend that you do both, right? Do the profiling tool if you can, followed by the profiling deck, because that helps you to have a lot more depth, have more conversations, and allows people to express themselves about the Enneagram and their type as well. So that said, this set has got 6 different categories. And the first category is called the narrative section. So in the narrative section, it's basically paragraphs of each of the types, and one just has to patiently read each of these paragraphs and they'll get a good inkling as to what each of these 9 types are. I would probably take the 3 top cards, as in the 3 paragraphs that reflects you most. That will be like part 1. Part 2, you take the second part of this deck and then you look at the strengths and limitations of the first 3 types that you chose. So basically the strengths and limitations equates to your resourceful or the healthy aspects of your type, and then the unhealthy aspects of your type. So again, you take your top 3, which reflects the first deck, and then you put it aside. Now, if you are familiar with the Enneagram, you'll know what the wings are, because basically the wings are on the diagram itself. It happens on the left-hand side of your core type or the right-hand side of your core type. So if you're a type 6, you'll have a 7 wing or a 5 wing. And the wing gives you a nice dimension, at least a nice dimension, which when combined with your core type, gives you a kind of a persona, which gives you much understanding or a much larger understanding of your type. So that also allows you to see which is your core type, right? When you combine it with the type that you most prefer and you use the wing, it gets you to see yourself in a much clearer dimension. Then we look at this section called the Provocative Deepening questions. And the Provocative Deepening questions sort of gets deeper into the type which you think you might have gotten closer to. So I'm just going to read you a couple of things. With the type 8, maybe the first question that we have down here is, how has being bad, being hard on yourself or others, denying sensitivities and vulnerabilities helped you in life? So that sort of gets deeper into the 8, and you can resonate with that, or if you can resonate with all the 5 questions in this particular card, it may reflect that you could be an 8. And of course, we could take your second highest and your third highest and we do the same, and we see which one resonates with you most. Now, the 5th category is called the subtypes. Now, again, you're quite familiar with the Enneagram type. These are the instinctual aspects of the type. So what would it look like if you're a type 5 in one of these categories? You'll have a little section down here that describes it, and it'll have you understand yourself and your subtype. Last but not least, we got the growth and transformation category of these cards. And what is this category about? Well, sometimes people would ask you things like, so Grant, what kind of advice could you give me based on my type? And we don't have to think hard, because these are 4 pieces of advice we've given for each type for growth and transformation. You can see that this deck can be used for coaching, it can be used for profiling, it can be used to have a discussion, it can also be used for you to just deepen your understanding of the Enneagram in general. That's in short. I hope this gives you a much better understanding of this deck, and if you'd like to purchase this, you can check out our website on www.eqworld.com, or you can check out the 9 Points of View, 9 points, P-O-I-N-T-S, of OFVIEW.com. All right, so thank you, and hope to connect with you soon.